Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, by God's grace.
Good.
How are you doing? Okay?
Good. How are
Hello,
you?
how are you doing?
Hello,
Okay?
hello.
Good to see you. Good
We
to
had a look at your book.
You did?
Just
Yes.
a look, just a look. We
Just-
haven't fully analysed yet.
Please.
Well, I'll be down to join this
Wednesday.
live stream Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, please email.
Okay.
Please
It's on the book.
Yeah, the email is
details.
on the book. Please email. Better if you can email maybe later today, at the earliest convenience. So maybe even this Wednesday you can join,
Yeah.
and we can go through some details and so on. And currently, are you an agnostic?
Atheist.
Atheist. Yeah, currently you're an atheist. And yourself?
I'm an agnostic.
Agnostic. But I'd really like you. Maybe do you live in the same?
We live together.
Together, yeah.
Kind of. But he could come. We'll see. We'll
Yeah,
figure
maybe
it
you
out.
can join
Whatever.
also or something. I'd really like to, because the sad state of affairs is that there is not much insight. In schools today, you've been given a picture as if Islam is similar to Christianity, which is again similar to Buddha. They have muddled everything up. They have diluted.
But there's not much religious discourse in schools, I'd say now.
This is the reality, which is very unfortunate. I understand completely if there is not much discourse about Islam,
Yeah.
because there
It's
is.
not just about Islam. For example, I'm from Greece. I went to an international school in Greece. And because of the nature of the school being international, meaning that there's people from all over the world having different religions, they purposefully did not allow for the topic to go towards religion. And the reason why they did that is because they thought that when religion comes in as a topic, aggression can come in, feelings can get hurt, and problems can arise. So therefore, whenever we would have these lessons, which would be more geared towards, more geared towards society, learning about society, learning about religions, gender, whatever it is, it would not be about religion. You would learn about everything else you should for society, but not religion, specifically because they wanted to avoid it because they saw it as a problem.
Yeah. You're very right. I completely understand. They're trying to keep everyone happy, and the way to keep everyone happy is to really go to the common denominator, and they think sort of agnosticism or staying away from the discourse is the common denominator, which is really not the case at all, logically speaking. Now, this is a problem. You know what? I completely understand.
But you said something I want to get back to. You said that agnosticism is staying away from the discourse.
No, sorry, maybe I
Okay,
misspoke.
okay.
Sorry, but what I mean is maybe secularism, should I say?
Yeah,
Secularism,
yeah. Okay.
is what the problem. I completely understand when responsible authorities want to keep people away from problems. I completely understand, especially as children and so on. We don't want children to, experience, negative things in life. But guess what? If we need to keep problems away from societies, what needs to be gotten rid of?
What?
Human beings!
Yeah.
Indeed.
We are the biggest cause of
Here.
trouble, problems in the world. You understand?
Yes.
We anger, hatred, malice, jealousy, all sorts of things.
But also, what I think is interesting when you compare Islam and Christianity. With Islam, Christianity's had a reformation. It's been challenged a lot. But Islam's not gone through that, and I think that particularly in this corner here, why you get the most Muslim kind of support, but not support, but most people talk about is challenging. It's because of insecurity, I think. So I think that discourse, dialogue is the only way.
Absolutely. And I think this is a system of indoctrination.
Yeah.
I think there is a place for the Quran in society. I think there is a place for Islam in society, and that is in the tips, council tips, in the bins. I think you didn't get my joke. I think that.
But I don't know if I agree with that. What do you believe in exactly?
I believe in God, and in God in the person of Jesus Christ. I am a Christian myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't think that other religions should exist? See, I told you I'm an agnostic. I don't follow any religion specifically. But I would not say that any religious book belongs in the bins. I cannot say that. Not just because it is disrespectful, but because we have all it's not random that different religions came from different places, because different places in the world, different people were raised differently, were taught differently, have a different culture, a different society, different ways in which they operate. And for that reason, even though you can argue, obviously, Alexia always likes to point this out, the similarities between the Bible and the Quran, they are different in some ways, in the way they speak things, the way they implement things in their daily lives. And for that reason, I think that you can't just cancel a religion. All religions have a place in this world, but perhaps they should not be imposed on.
Yeah.
You should not impose a
I completely believe, I completely agree with the idea that no one should be imposing a religion on others, certainly not in our present day context. God of the Bible is a very reasonable God. He doesn't force anyone to follow him. He wants to engage with people. He wants to give reasons for his existence, and he really wants people to follow him. But he doesn't want to force that upon them. He wants them to follow by choice. Islam, you earlier said, Islam, very similar things and so on. No, that's not actually true at all. And this is why I'd like to actually I know I've been researching, I'm preparing to write a book. I've done my research on this and so on. Islam can't be further away from Christianity as it is today. It simply can't be. It's polar opposite already. Islam thrives on violence.
But it also thrives on denying Christianity.
Exactly.
For
It's
Islam
a
to be
polar
true,
opposite.
You need to deny Judaism, you need to deny Christianity,
Exactly.
you need to deny what came before.
That's one very important strand of the religion. Completely, you have understood the point, Alexei. But it's not just that. It's not just that. For example, I'm sure you'd appreciate if I told you the Bible is about sexual morality. One of the aspects of the Bible is, in terms of sexual morality, top quality. This is how you should behave. What I'm talking about. Islam, on the other hand, is essentially a doctrine of sexual immorality. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yes.
These are polar opposites. You can't. There is nothing similar at all. This is a fake imitation with no God. And essentially just encapsulating human wickedness in that imitation.
I completely understand what you're saying, and from what I have read, which is limited but still, I can agree with it. But on the other hand, you can't say that they're completely different. And why I can't say that, at least, is because what is religion? Would you like to answer me so I can make
for me, I mean, even before I answer that particular, what's your name?
Cleo.
Cleo.
Yes.
Cleo, for me, it's very simple.
Okay.
There is a God. Yeah. Even before knowing who he is, there is already a framework by which we can understand that there is a God.
So you would say that religion is purely based on God and not on the lessons of God?
I would say religion should be based. Now this is where in other words, let me put it this way. This is where I'm not even addressing. You asked me the question, what is religion? I didn't even answer that question directly. For me, religion is irrelevant. For me, truth matters. And for me, it is, let's say, Chloe, yeah? Sorry, Cleo.
Yes.
Cleo came here. You're a fellow human being. Alexei is a fellow human being. I've seen him for a while. At least 2-3 years. Since the first time I saw him and so on. Of course, you were there the other day, weren't you, or something?
I've been coming for a few months. Not the last week, but we obviously talk about it.
Yeah. So I've sort of, you're sort of newer to me in terms of seeing and so on. But my point is, but I understand you're fellow human beings. Yeah. And so I want to relate to you. At this stage, relating to you is trying to, communicate to you what I think about God and so on.
Yeah.
Likewise, just imagine in your mind, if there is a God, and if he is a relational God, if he wants to relate to us and if he is desperate, except sometimes people don't understand, then it's my duty to help you understand so you can relate to him. This is all I care about. If religion is just about this, that's it. Then I'm all up for it. But in other words, I am not up for a religion being just a set of moral teachings and so on. And I don't care. I mean, without God, there is no morality. Without God, you just have your ideas. No one can call.
There's any morality without God.
What's that?
You don't think there's any morality without God?
Hey, without morality, what you might have, the ideas you might have are just ideas, your preferential ideas.
Yeah, but ideas that can be tested and
How can ideas tested against what?
experience.
But
Like with the Greeks before Christian morality, you had the Greeks.
no, Alexei, morality is ultimately about understanding what is good. Now, what I'd like to understand is when you say ideas can be tested and you said tested against experience, please tell me how can you conclude a particular idea to be good without God?
I think as humans we have a natural, like we naturally strive to be good, and we strive to be bad. You know, and I think there is without God, there is a, you know, even within the brain, like neuroscientists have proved that there are parts of the brain that deal with morality and deal with good and evil.
There's a risk and reward system, sorry to interrupt, in our brain, which heightens certain hormones, which are called the happy hormones, to be unprofessional, which give you a sense of self-satisfaction that you have done something correct. That actually exists. Science actually says that.
So, Cleo, do you like going around killing people?
Of course not.
But there are some people who like doing that.
Yes, but those are people who have imbalances in their brain.
But no, wait a second. But before we appreciate what is good, you can't say they have imbalance, because they can turn around to you and say we have imbalance, because they might think killing is the right thing to do. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I see what
And this
you're
is what I'm
saying.
trying to understand. So in other words, you have your ideas, they have their ideas. So who is to say what is right?
Yeah.
So in other words, without God, all that we can say is we may prefer some things just because we are grown up in a particular way.
But it is true, sorry to interrupt again, it is true that it is proven that most people who will kill are people who have imbalances, or people who have some sort of
Sociopathic,
sociopathy, psychopathy, whatever it is.
But bear in mind, so when you say sociopathic imbalance, you are defining it. Let me put it this way, yeah. Or in Osama bin Laden's mind, he is perhaps, I don't know, I have never met him, of course, clearly, but in his mind, he might be the best human being to have ever lived.
Yeah.
And he might look at you and he might think, these guys are nutters. They can't even think properly. How silly they are that they don't even know that my Allah exists and that my Allah wants everyone to forcefully receive him, you know, and if not, just wipe them out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's what Osama bin Laden might think. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I
So in
do.
other words, your point that those guys have imbalance, they might disagree with.
But there is empirical evidence. This is something that has been studied and contested. As Alexei said, it has been tested again and again, because science is something that can be tested. So it has been tested that certain areas of the brain don't have as much of a hormone as is needed for you to be balanced and be able to make decisions based on morality, I guess, yeah.
So this is why I'd really like to, you know,
Yeah.
if you join on this live stream, I'd really like to go through some specifics of what you have in mind as research. All that I can say is, I like science, you know, I like science. And Christians have been some of the pioneers of various aspects of science, as you could imagine. My point simply would be, science today helps understand what could help us live a day longer,
Yeah,
enjoy a day better.
yeah.
You know, that sort of stuff. Science can help. But I think when we go through details, I think, of course we need to still go through the details, but I think when we go through details, I think you'll find it really hard to say that science will help us understand what is good ultimately, as opposed to what will help us live one day longer. Bear in mind, in a Muslim's mind, Osama bin Laden's mind, he is going to live better by wiping out all non-Muslims. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? There is plenty of relativity going on there.
Yeah, but I would say, you know, in Christian history, there's been plenty of examples of people coming and wiping out, killing, you know. And
Which ones do you have in mind?
I mean, the Crusades, Thomas Aquinas with his just war theory. You know, a whole theory needed to pop up to justify killing.
Yeah. So here is where, I mean, just to make sure we are on the same page, Alexei. Yeah, I do appreciate that in the name of God, unfortunately, some things have been done which are really not representative of God. I completely understand and appreciate. Yeah, and I'm not responding to a particular point that you're making. I'm just making a general point. If you're a Muslim, you actually become. I don't know if you know. This is where I'm researching. I can give you details and so on. You actually are a better Muslim when you kill in the name of Islam. But you're actually you're not actually being a Christian when you kill in the name of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? In other words, it goes against the teaching of Jesus Christ if you go and kill others immorally. Yeah. But if you kill someone for the sake of religion, you actually become a better Muslim. In other words, I completely understand in the name of Jesus Christ also, some things have happened which we should never be proud about. And this is where Reformation happened and all sorts of different things. But Reformation, essentially following Jesus Christ based on the 1st century, 2nd century ideas are wonderful. Phenomenal.
Christians. Yeah.
Phenomenal. You might be familiar with the idea of gladiators. Christians became victims big time in the 1st and 2nd centuries, first few centuries as a matter of fact. Severe persecution. Sometimes people even erroneously say victors write history and that's how Christianity was born. That's utter nonsense, because Christians were victors only in our minds by laying down our own lives. But in the minds of the world, we were losers, big time losers, because we were dying in the millions. You see what I'm saying? Here is where I absolutely agreed. But here is where we go to the teaching of the Bible. Who is a Christian? We need to find out what Jesus Christ taught. And when someone imitates him better, he becomes a Christian. You see what I'm saying? And when you see them, you find phenomenal people. People who fought against the slave trade, North Atlantic slave trade, Christians. People who were involved in some of the leading modern day charities of the world, Christians.
But isn't it that even on the other side, the people who were enslaving, again, were Christians?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, yeah. In other words, I'm not saying, okay, completely agree. The question is, who subjected them to that? Were they subjected to... I completely agree. There were plenty of victims who were Christians also. Completely agreed. I guess my point is, just to take one step back, my simple point is, the faithful follower of Jesus Christ is a faithful follower only when you compare and contrast against scriptures, the Gospels, and the rest of the New Testament, and you find him to be compliant with that. And that kind of guy you'd always find to be excellent in moral standing. That's my point. Whether he is on this side, whether he is on non-victim side or on the victim side, they'll always work towards the better of human society broadly, and specific human beings in particular. This is the fortitude of Christian theology. In contrast, this, like I said, I like to defend. I think I don't want to force anyone, and therefore I'm not going to force. Alexei knows me. I come here to reason. Even with Muslims, I reason. But I genuinely think this belongs in the bin. The religion belongs in the bin. And people who...
I'd say the way it manifests itself in the UK, it's a lot more a lot more unpleasant than it. For example, like I live in Dubai. My family are in Dubai. And the way Islam is over there is completely different to here. It's not like you don't have this dawah, you don't have this process of, where someone comes up to you and the other person, they completely try and dissolve your understanding of the world to be able to communicate their idea to you. But in a Muslim world, in a Muslim country like Dubai, it's very relaxed. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But it's the Islam that you get over here that's in contrast. It's almost like it's fighting against everyone.
In Dubai, Alexei, I don't know how long you lived there, but
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
So you are aware of the fact that many foreign workers live and work in Dubai.
Yes.
Can they gain citizenship in Dubai? There we go. What's happening there?
But just because you can't gain citizenship, it doesn't. You know, on paper you're a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
But it's a social contract. You know, if you.
It's a religious. I don't know if you're aware. It's a religious social construct.
No, not really. I wouldn't say.
It is.
No,
It
on
is.
On paper it is. But like you go there and you don't have to be religious at all. You know, you just follow.
I know. But okay. Yeah. Here is where Alexa, the details matter. Details are very important, and the details are just to give the tip of the iceberg. You can't go to Dubai and gain citizenship regardless of whether you work for people there or companies there for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. It doesn't matter. You simply cannot.
Yeah.
Which means you're never going to be treated in the same manner as people already living there. Number
You
one.
won't be treated. Yeah, that's true. But like.
You won't be.
You won't be. Yeah. But
So
it's
that's already ungodliness.
That's true. But there is a social contract. You know, you might not be treated exactly the same way, but you'll be respected. You'll be.
What's the respect, Alexa? If I told you, Alexa, you know what? You can come home to my place. You can come home. You know, I have some work. You know, you can work for me. Of course, this is a hypothetical scenario. You can come and work for me. You know, I have a large house. You can come and work for me. You know, but whatever and so on. But you'll always be my slave. Always be my second-grade servant.
Yeah.
What's the?
But, I mean, you'll be like if you work there, you'll have a nice house. You'll have nice facilities, nice service, nice. So a lot of people. The thing is in Dubai, the idea there is that you don't. Although you won't gain citizenship, it's a question that won't even pop up. You know.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
Actually considering is why are there so many immigrants in Dubai? Why are there so many people there? They're fleeing from something which in some cases might be worse than what they have in Dubai.
Absolutely, completely agreed. So
Yeah.
money,
Money.
plenty of money.
That's the point.
Plenty of money in the Arab heartland, no problem. I completely agree. But Alexei, let's take one step back. My point simply is not whether in Dubai, you know, you can live a comfortable life. My problem is, does Islam allow you to do it or not?
No.
Yeah,
That's
is
the
my
point,
key
that's the
point.
point, yeah.
And there, like I said, Osama bin Laden might not feel at home in Dubai, for example. Yeah.
I don't think you would. Yeah. No, I'm saying, yeah.
He wouldn't. So for him, of course, he'd feel at home very much in the presence of Taliban, you know, where he could go around and just ask you, well, can you recite a surah or no? Or you could kill.
I'll kill you.
You know, that sort of stuff, you know. And that's not good. So this is not worthy of being existent in human societies, but it does exist, unfortunately, and we are working on that. But you, in the meantime, Cleo, Alexei, you both need to become Christians, and I think there is plenty of reasons for that, and so that's what I'd like to walk you through.
Okay.
God of the Bible is a phenomenal God, remarkable God. There are good reasons, very, very solid, beyond doubt reasons for you to understand that He exists and that the supernatural things that have been reported in scriptures are real. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is where we have, so that's a prominent presence from the police. Unfortunately,
a glorious entrance of the police, a glorious entrance of the police.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I mean, even with this, you know, Muslim troublemakers, you know. But anyway, I really think there are good reasons for you to become Christians, and I'd really like to commend those reasons to you. But the fundamental of that is this, Alexei and Cleo. The claim that Jesus died and came back alive is evidential. Thankfully, through the providence of God, it is evidential even to us in the 21st century. So you and I, you know, living in a land far away from Israel, the historic Israel, living at a time far away from the first century, we can examine even today. Thankfully for us, we have resources even in the British Library, in British Museum. Wonderful for us, you know, that we can understand that the Jesus you read in the Gospels is really the historical Jesus, especially in His death, burial, resurrection. And that in itself is a good enough reason for you to be Christians. But of course, this is where, of course, you need to know more details. The book deals with some of the details. If you need one more copy, but if you want to share, that's fine also. But please, please, I really urge you.
No, I'll read that book.
Yeah. As young, very unfortunately, many young people couldn't care less these days. I don't want you to do that. I really want you to. I'm not rushing you or anything, but I don't want you to, take it easy and ignore him. Take your time, go through, ask all sorts of questions. When you go through the book, if something isn't clear, if you think I haven't addressed any particular point, I've sort of worked out my devil's advocate thinking all the way through. But if you think something isn't clear, some point isn't addressed, there's holes in the argument or anything, please bring that to my attention.
Thank you.
But Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday.
Please, you can remind him, and please you remind somehow between you. Yeah.
Okay.
We are really hoping. I have a couple of other friends also who would join. We are really hoping that you would join.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Please, this Wednesday, can we expect? Please email before. Maybe today, at the earliest convenience. Please email. Glad to see you. God's blessings. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, have a good time. Yeah, see you later. Bye.